damit das große Finale des Elton Safety Shoes European Darts Grand Prix 2025. 48 Spieler haben dieses Event begonnen. Nur noch 2 sind übrig und nur einer verlässt Sindelfingen als Champion. Das Finale live und präsentiert von der PDC Europe hier aus dem legendären Glaspalast. Und jetzt ein letztes Mal Sindelfingen. Seid ihr bereit für das? Dann kommen hier unsere beiden Finalisten. Wir begrüßen zurück aus England die aktuelle Nummer 28 der Welt. Er steht in seinem zweiten Finale auf der European Tour. Der ehemalige UK Open Champion, Goldfinger, Andrew Gilding. Titelverteidiger. Er ist der Gewinner von 54 PDC-Titeln. Ein ehemaliger UK Open, Premier League und World Matchplay Champion. And a two-time back-to-back champion of the world. The Flying Scotsman, Gary Anderson.
Pack it up, pack it in, let me begin. I came to win, battle me, that's a sin. I won't ever slack up, punk, you better back up. Try and play the role and you're the whole crew will act up. Get up, stand up, come on, throw your hands up if you got the feeling. Jump up, touch the ceiling, monks, let's up on plus. Someone's fucking jump, yeah, I'll bust them in the eye. And then I'll take the punks up. I came to get down, I came to get down. So get out your seat and jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around. Jump up and get down. Jump, 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 everybody jump, 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 everybody jump.
The final of the European Darts Grand Prix in Sindelfingen will be contested by last year's winner Gary Anderson and Andrew Gilding, a former UK Open winner who is looking to break his duck on the European Tour. Goldfinger has had a fine tournament, kicking off with a 6-5 win over Gabriel Clemens, playing beautifully, averaging a ton. He then survived his clash with Johnny Clayton. It's the one in the middle where he played Danny Nopper, where he truly shone. 6-3 earlier today. Battered Peter Wright. And then against Luke Woodhouse, it was more of a scrap, a more workmanlike performance. But an average of 88 was enough to secure a 7-3 win. As for Gary Anderson, well, the 180 graphic was threatening to burst when he was playing Gian van Veen, getting 9 of them in total in securing a 6-5 win. Rob Cross, Martin Lukeman, and most recently Dirk van Dijvenbode have been accounted for. There are a couple of ominous signs for Andrew Gilding. The first is they have played each other previously in a final once. Gary Anderson won it 11 years ago now. It was the first Pro Tour event of 2014 with a 111 average. The last time Anderson beat Gilding, again on the floor, he averaged nearly 124. If he does that, all sorts of records are going to be broken. Paul Nicholson, it has been a wonderful tournament here in Sindelfingen, and it would almost be a fitting finale to see Gary defend his title.
Yeah, I guess so, Dan. But Gilding wants to get gold. Silver means nothing when you've tasted winning success before.
57.
That UK Open trophy that graced the mantelpiece. When he handed it back, there's a space that could be filled with the trophy in the next 30 to 35 minutes.
100.
But everybody here, well, the majority of the audience will want Gary to defend this title. But if he does,
80.
savour his presence, because I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see him in Germany again. Aside the World Cup, of course, until the Euros, because that's what he did last year.
Exactly right. A win here for Gary Anderson would see him take care of a number of
140.
things. Like the Grand Slam, he'd probably get into that. He'd, of course, get into the European Championship. It would just give him
96.
that extra freedom to really pick and choose.
61.
That Grand Slam carrot, that's a big one. That's something we haven't spoken about all weekend. This is a nice steady start from
97.
Gilding. That game with Woodhouse in the semis was edgy. He was the better of the two players.
58. And you require 64.
Andrew Gilding will approach this game like any other. He doesn't change his routine or his preparation. He tends not to deviate from tops.
44. Gary, you require 152.
This is a big ask even for Gary. Hasn't scored very well in this leg at all.
60. And you require 20.
I'm sure that sign said there's only one Gary Anderson. Double 5 for Andrew. He gives Gary a chance.
Gary, you require 92.
Well, you mentioned the word edgy, and they were edgy darts. Gary Anderson may get away with one here. He certainly does. It's a 20-dart holder throw. He was nowhere near for the majority of that leg. But Andrew Gilding, you cannot afford to miss 4 darts at double against the Flying Scotsman.
Yeah, that was a freebie for Gary. He thought that leg was gone. What a bonus. By the way, there is another Gary Anderson. He was a famous Minnesota Vikings kicker. One of the best, in fact. But if we're being fair, in world sport, Gary Anderson, the dart player, is bigger.
Well, Andrew will probably feel like he got a good kicking after that first leg.
100.
But one thing that you always associate with Gilding is composure, one of the most stoic dart players out there. He could win a final 8-0, he could lose a final 8-0, it would still be the same calm, graceful reaction to winning or losing.
I go back to when he made the final of the Belgian Darts Open in 2022. He lost to Chizzy.
100.
And in his interview afterwards, post losing that final, he said something that I have quoted for the last 2.5 years. He said, how can you be disappointed by doing better than you've ever done? Philosophically, that is incredible. He wouldn't say the same if he loses this final.
140.
Very profound from a man who we know is a man of few words. But what he is, he's an unbelievably good dart player, a hard dart player to beat.
61.
Tell me about it. So it is tops again. It's another miss, and his confidence is taking
64.
a little bit of a kicking. For the salt in the wound, it's tops for Gary.
44.
Just
And you
loses
require
momentum in
20.
the air.
Neither player has been able to take care of a 64 checkout thus far. Double 5. Well, this is a poor start for Gilding.
Gary
The
requires
scoring's
20.
been good, but 7 missed darts at double already.
Oh, it's got to be right. At the top. Oh, how's that gone in? How has that gone in? He cannot believe that has landed lower than the other dart and to the left. That was not where he was looking, but he will take it.
Many things happen at the European Tour, and I think we've just seen physics being defied.
Either that or Gary actually is a wizard.
40.
Look at this. That was not part of the plan, was it? We're on to you, Gary.
We felt the same, Gary. We were just as befuddled.
40.
Bounce outs are plenty here.
They're all flight deflections. Maybe a sign of tired arms, where you're not throwing the darts with the same ferocity. Whatever you've got left, you put into this final. There's no point having any strength left in your arm when the final whistle goes. That's indeed if Kirk Bevins had a whistle. Oh, he does like trains. Maybe he does have a whistle.
He's got a notebook. We'll leave it at that.
Andrew's been in 5 ranking finals in PDC darts.
96.
He's won 1 of them, of course. Gary's won 30 Players' Championship titles. 6 UK Open qualifiers when they were a thing. 2 of these European Tour events.
41.
And 6 wins in the World Series. He's won everywhere he's gone. There aren't many things to tick off the list, but if he was to defend this title and be the first person to do it,
140.
that would be a nice feather in his cap.
In 11 years since he lost in this building, it was his old pal Michael Smith. Great contest as well in 2014.
32.
He may never lose in the Glass Palast ever again. The way this streak is going,
100.
he's like the Oakland A's. That sign that said, we may never lose again. But they did. Oh, this is getting away from Gilding already.
32.
Those misses early at 10s and 5s, they're costing him. He's 3-0 down. He's in big trouble.
Full leg, Andrew to throw first. Game.
Even though it's an extended format, first to 8 legs, remember, you do not want to be in a position where you are chasing. But chase he has to.
100.
First glimpse of the Gilding thumb in this final.
Seems absurd to say this. There is the thumb. No, not Christoph Kachuk, the thumb of Andrew Gilding. But it seems weird to say it as we see another dart fall on the floor. He gets 124.
That was in. That was in, and it's happened to both players now. We've been speaking across the course of the weekend about the warm atmosphere. Now,
85.
the local weather today has been much cooler than Friday and Saturday, but the heat levels have risen as the day's gone on. It's crept up upon us, and I think it's crept up on both these players.
Yeah, Gary said on Saturday he was very pleased that he didn't have to play Friday night, because in here it was uncomfortable to say the least.
58. Andrew to go 117.
He wants to leave tops, and he wants to take it to settle down.
97.
Still hasn't hit a double from 8 attempts. He might be feeling like Peter Wright did against him in the quarterfinals.
Andrew required 20.
He was in double digits, I think, before he got his first double.
It's happening again. It's happened again.
16.
And the worrying
Gary
thing from
require
Gilding's point of view
141.
is the fact that he's missing his favoured doubles. He loves tops, and by consequence, he'll go for 10s and 5s often. Gary Anderson's going for double 12 and hits it. That is the first real moment of quality in this final. It's a breaker throw, and Anderson already is halfway to retaining his title.
Wow, what a shot. And the look from Gilding, as if to say, you cheeky little
86.
schnitzel. It could easily be Gilding in the distance if he'd hit his doubles. Everybody's shouting the Flying Scotsman's name now. You might be seeing a little slice of history. But it is absurd to think that if Gary wins the title tonight, he will have the
57.
same amount of European titles as Martin Schindler. That happened last week. Two very different journeys, I might add. When Gary was winning his first Euro Tour title, Martin was a steward. Now he's the best player in Central Europe.
134.
Martin's journey didn't involve a 7-year hiatus.
And we hope it doesn't.
But it was such a significant moment when Gary announced he was going to return to European Tour qualifiers.
81.
What it did tell us was the Anderson fire was still burning brightly.
Everybody needs motivation, whatever it is.
140.
Trophies, titles, money, rankings. You might have a chart on your wall where certain titles lie without a check mark. Could be a mix of the stuff that I've just mentioned.
Gary require 84.
5-0 sounds like a dream. It's a reality.
Games on the 5th leg, Gary Anderson.
This tournament has yielded so many massive finishes in finals. 1-6-1s from the likes of Peter Wright and Van Gerwen.
60.
Other massive shots from the likes of Jose de Souza and Ian White. That 1-4-1
91.
has not just put Andrew on the back foot, it's almost put him off the stage. This is a stroll right now.
Only once before in this tournament have we seen a whitewash final. Weirdly enough, it was against the greatest player the European Tour has ever seen, Michael Van Gerwen, losing to Peter Wright in 2017. And another Scotsman dish out a bagel.
Gary's actually not playing that well in this final compared to what he's done previously. But there is not 1% of him that's bothered about that right now. And that's the most important thing to him. He's beating his opponent.
Look, he wasn't great against Ross Smith in last year's final,
140.
averaging around the 90 mark. But he still had enough. Go on then, Gary. Clips the outside wire.
The symphony of ooze as the bull is missed. Now Gilding's looking for touche on the 1-4-1.
89.
And instead of
Gary
touche,
require 48.
he may be looking at 6-0 down.
Games on the 6th leg.
Gary's hitting all the doubles.
7th leg, Gary to throw first.
And it's a double that he's looking for. 2 legs for 2 titles.
42.
We've spoken about it in previous matches, the way that Gary Anderson is willing to mix things up on the doubles. He's won 6 legs, 3 of them have been on double 16. How often would that have happened 10 years ago?
140.
Unheard of.
Not many times. He wasn't against using different parts of the board. He was just all about
86.
plan A. Because plan A was predominantly really good. He was labelled as a Premier League player that wouldn't finish very well. He would score brilliantly. I don't think it was as bad as people said.
140.
His 12s were incredible. His tops, his 10s were good. But the times when his tops and his 12s
61.
were at their best, he was unbelievable. And maybe the biggest thing that hasn't happened to Gary Anderson in his career, you might think it's the Grand Slam and not winning that. It's not. It's the fact that he was back-to-back world champion and he wasn't world number one. That is one of the best things that Michael van Gerwen has done in keeping him out of the top spot.
That will never happen again.
32.
Impossible with the prize money announcement.
121.
Come on, Andrew. Well, I think everyone in the crowd, they might not be vocalising it, but everyone will want to see Gilding
85.
walk away with at least
Gary
one leg.
170.
Yes, that is what Gary is looking at. He knows a thing or two about fish. But this one's off the hook.
134. Oh.
So they're
And
both
you
on
require
double 18.
36.
Is this the first for Gilding? th dart at a double.
27.
And it's unlucky for him. Anderson has got to be ruthless.
36.
That is ruthless.
Gary.
Gary Anderson is 7-0 up.
Yeah.
Merciless in dispatching Andrew Gilding, and surely it's only a matter of time before he gets the job done.
You can only be human in this spot for Andrew and just feel 2 words.
123.
Oh no. Nothing's gone right. It's like he's been left on the grid.
59.
They both had the same number of attempts. The difference stark.
100.
Is this the last leg that we see Gary Anderson play on the European Tour this year? Unless he's already got flights booked for Rosmarland.
140.
Or for other ones. It could be. That's for another day. Moments like this, the
84.
fans want to know the ending of the story. Some of these fans have been here all of the tournament, from Friday afternoon to Sunday night.
92.
Everybody in here wouldn't begrudge Andrew a leg,
51.
but he might not get one. That's worked out really,
125.
really well.
And you require 143.
It could yield his first championship dart.
$65.
Regardless of
Yeah, you
outcome, it was
require
always going to have been a
85.
good tournament for Gilding, reaching just his second European Tour final. But Gary Anderson has tops for the match. The Glass Palace belongs to Gary Anderson, the first player to ever successfully retain the European Darts Grand Prix title. And in truth, it was a real cakewalk. Gilding can only shrug his shoulders. He doesn't quite know what happened. Not the greatest quality final, but Anderson walks away with the title. He can put his passport in his drawer until October at least in terms of the European Tour. He'll be here at the European Championship. Andrew Gilding never got going. You have to feel sorry for him on a human level, not getting a leg in the final. But there is a reason why Gary Anderson is one of the greatest players this sport has ever seen. He is a ruthless winning machine, and he has won his third European Tour title. whitewashing Andrew Gilding.